Hi guys, so in this video we are going to be working on March 2025 question paper. Okay, so we are going to do the entire question paper and we will start from question 1 and we are going to begin with 1.1. So we are told that the parking tariffs at BT Gabs Mall in Mthatha are given below. The rate is charged per hour or part thereof. Study the table below and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so we are going to start with 1.1. So if we look at our table, so we are given table 1, which is parking tariff at BT Gaps. If we look at our table, we can see that we have two columns. We have the hours column and we have the rate column, and the rate column just represent the price. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with 1.1. So 1.1.1 says that write down the amount that a customer who spends 2.5 hours at the mall will pay. Okay, so a customer who spends 2.5 hours at the mall. So if we check at the third column, we can see that from 1 hour to 3 hours, the rate is 10 rand, meaning that our answer is going to be 10 rand. Okay, so now let's go ahead and answer question 1.1.2. Question 1.1.2. So question 1.1.2 says that define the term part thereof in the given context. So part thereof, let's write it down. Part thereof. So part thereof means that the rate will be paid per full 1 hour, even if you spend less than 1 hour. So the rate is charged per hour. So if you spend 30 minutes, you will still pay it in full. It will still be counted or considered as the full hour. So the rate will be paid per full 1 hour. Per full 1 hour, even if you spend less than 1 hour. Okay, so now we are done with question, we are not done. So we are done with question 1.1.2 and we'll be moving to question 1.1.3. I thought we were done with question 1.1. So we are left with 1.1.3. So 1.1.3 says that on a Black Friday special, customers only have to pay 75% of the usual tariff. By tariff, they mean the rate or the price. Okay, calculate the amount paid by a customer who spends 4.24 hours in the mall. So we can see that if we look at our table, we can see that from 4 hours to 5 hours, the rate is 20 rand. So we are told that on a Black Friday, a customer only have to pay 75 rand, meaning that we need to calculate 75% of the 20 rand. Okay, so we take our 20 rand and multiply by 75 divided by 100. Then we will be able to see how much this customer will pay. I'm talking about the customer who spends 4.25 hours in the mall. Okay, so if we plug that on our calculator, it's 20 multiplied by 75 divided by 100, and our answer will be 15, meaning that a customer who spends 4.25 hours at the mall on a Black Friday will only pay 15 rand. So 15 will be our final answer. So we can say 15 rand. So we can also include an R, meaning to show that it's a price. Okay, so now we are done with question 1.1 and we will be moving to question 1.2. So to do that, we can just create space. And guys, we do have extra classes and we only charge 80 rand per month. You have to attend twice a week and 8 times in a month. And if you want to join, guys, there is a number there on the screen. You can just send a text on WhatsApp and we will add you to our group. Okay, so now let's continue with question 1.2. 1.2. Okay, so we are told that the total number of qualified teachers in South Africa in 2022 was 490,993, and we are also told that 68% of the teachers are female. Okay, so we are told that qualified teachers, maybe we can start by specifying that qualified teachers are 490,993. Okay, so now let's go ahead and answer question 1.2.1. So question 1.2.1 states that, is the data discrete or continuous? So before we move any further, we first need to distinguish between discrete and continuous. Discrete and continuous. So the data that is discrete takes only whole numbers. So the answer that you have needs to be a whole number. In this case, the answer or the data does not need to be in a fraction or a decimal way. What does that mean? It means that it can either be 1, it can either be 10, it can either be 100, 115, but it does not need to be 10.5 or 10.2. So it takes only whole numbers. Whole numbers. So it takes only whole numbers. Okay. So let's change our marker. So it takes only whole numbers. And continuous can take any number. Doesn't matter whether the number doesn't matter whether the number or the answer has fractions or decimals. So it takes any number. And guys, what does this mean? This means that if we are speaking about the number of qualified teachers, we can only have whole numbers because we can't have 10.5 teachers. It can only be 10 teachers or 11 teachers. Okay, so in this case, we can see that our answer will be discrete because it takes only whole numbers. It's either the teachers are 5 or the teachers are 10 or the teachers are 100. We can't have 10.5 teachers, and we can't have 100.9 teachers. Okay, the answer or the data needs to be a whole number. So our answer will be discrete. Okay, so now let's move to question 1.2.2. So question 1.2.2 says that write the number of qualified teachers in words. What does that mean? It means that we are writing this number, which is 490,993. We have to write it in words. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So it's 490 thousand 993 100 and 93. So now we are done answering question 1.2.2. So let's go ahead and answer question 1.2.3. So question 1.2.3 says that determine how many teachers are male. Okay, so we know that if we go back to our question or to our statement, we are told that 490,993 is the number of qualified teachers, and on this amount 68% are female. Okay, meaning that to find the percentage of male teachers, we just minus 68 from 100, so that we can be able to see the percentage of male teachers. So let's quickly do that. So if we come and say 100 minus 68, we can see that the percentage of male teachers is 32%. Then we can now go ahead and take the total number of qualified teachers, which is 993 multiplied by 32 divided by 100. So now we can see that the total number of qualified teachers is, the total number of male qualified teachers is 993 multiplied by 32 divided by 100. And our answer will be 157,117.76. And remember, guys, remember that in our first question, we said that the answer needs to be a whole number. That's why we concluded that the data is discrete, meaning that we need to take away this decimal. Okay, so to do that, we will come and round it off. And when we round it off, we can see that this 7 here is greater than 5, meaning that it will force this 7, which is on the other side after the comma, to increase by 1. But if it was below 5, it was going to stay the same. So it was going to stay at 7. So our final answer will be 157,118. And this is the number of male teachers. Male teachers. Okay, so now we will move to the next question, which is question 1.2.4. But before we do that, let's just first create enough space. Let's first create enough space. Let's create enough space. And we do have more videos on our channel, meaning that after watching this video, you can still go ahead and watch our other videos so that you can be able to understand and be fully prepared before you go and write your tests. Okay, so now let's go to question 1.2.4. So question 1.2.4 says that express as a ratio the number of female teachers to the total number of qualified teachers. Write your ratio in the form 1:2. Okay, so we are told to express our ratio in the number of qualified teachers, but we haven't calculated the number of female teachers. So to do that, we just come and say the same way we calculated the number of male teachers. So we just come and say 490,993 multiplied by, in this case, we are told that the number of female teachers is 68%. So we just come and multiply by 68 and divide by 100. And let's quickly do that. So it's 490,993 multiplied by 68 over 100. And our answer will be 333,875.24. Again, guys, remember that our answer needs to be a whole number, meaning that we need to take away this 2.4. So in this case, to do that, we need to round it off. And if we see this number here, we can see that it is less than 5, meaning that this 5 will remain the same. But if this number was greater than 5, this 5 here was going to round off to 6. But in this case, it will remain the same. So our final answer will be 333,875. So this is the number of qualified teachers. So now let's go back to our question. Our question says that express as a ratio the number of female teachers to the total number of qualified teachers. What does that mean? That means that we need to write the number of our female teachers is to the number of qualified teachers. Okay. And we know that the number of our female teachers is how much? Is 333,875 is to the number of qualified teachers is 490,993. And we are also told that we need to express our answer in the form, our ratio in the form of 1:2. What does that mean? It means that this side needs to be 1:2 another number here. So how do we do that? We do that by dividing this side by itself. Remember that if you divide a number by itself, the answer will always be 1. So we are going to divide 333,875 by itself. So it's 333,875. And what we do on the left hand side, we also do on the right hand side. So even this side, we are going to divide by 333,875. And when you divide the two, our answer will be 1. And now let's go ahead and divide the other side. So we are going to say 490,993 divide by 333,875. And our answer will be 1,47. And this will be our ratio. Okay, so now let's move to question 1.3. So we are done with 1.2. So now we are moving to 1.3. So we can just quickly create space so that we can be able to answer that question. Okay, so now we are moving to question 1.3. So we are told that choose the appropriate option for the following given statements. Write the equation number and the letter only. For example, question 1.3.3 is equals to E. Okay, so now let's go ahead and answer our questions. So we are going to start with question 1.3.1. So question 1.3.1 says that the probability of selecting a learner doing mathematical literacy and mathematics. So we know that in school, guys, in schools, you can either do mathematical literacy or pure maths, which is mathematics in this case. So you can't do both, meaning that our answer is going to be B. And what does B mean? B means that it's impossible. It's impossible to do maths literacy and pure mathematics. Okay, so now let's go ahead and answer question 1.3.2. So question 1.3.2 says that the probability of selecting a taxpayer receiving all the 3 rebates at a local school. Okay, so our answer in this case will be D, which is less likely. But before we move to the next question, guys, let us first analyze D so that we can understand it. So if we are speaking about tax rebates, we know that we have the primary rebate, we have the secondary rebate, and we have the tertiary rebate. So the primary, everyone qualifies. Okay, so the secondary rebate, only workers who are 65 years and older qualifies. Only workers who are 65 and older qualifies. And the tertiary one, only workers who are 75 years and older qualifies. So in this case, we are told that the probability of selecting a taxpayer receiving all 3 rebates. By all 3, they mean that this person needs to be 75 years and older to qualify for all 3. Okay, to qualify for all 3, a person needs to be 75 years and older. And why is it less likely? It's because at this age, people or workers have already gone to pension. So it's hard to find a teacher who is 75 years old. Even 65, it's rare, because you'd find that most workers are going to pension at the age of 60 or exactly at the age of 65. So to find someone who's 75 years old still working is less likely. That's why our answer was D. Okay, so now let's move to the next question, which will be question 2. So now let's start with question 2. So question 2 is mostly based on taxation. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with question 2. And we will start with question 2.1. But before we get to 2.1, let's first understand what is required from us. So we are told that Daniel is a 53-year-old man earning a monthly gross salary of 32,500. He contributes 7.5% of his salary towards pension each month. He contributes towards medical aid for himself, his wife, and 3 children. Use the text table below to answer the questions that follow. So we have the first table, which is table 2, which represent 2023 tax year. Okay, so it has different tax brackets, and we also have the rebates table, and we have the medical credit rates table as well. So let's go ahead and work on question 2.1. So question 2.1 says that determine the annual contribution towards pension. Okay, so we know that he contributes 7.5%. So now let's first find out how much he earns in a year. So to do that, we are going to take his monthly gross salary of 32,500 and multiply by 12 to convert it to annually. And remember guys, once they say annually, they mean per year, and we know that in a year we have 12 months. So now let's go ahead and calculate 32,500 multiplied by 12, and our answer will be 390,000. So it's 390,000. Okay, and we know that he contributes 7.5 towards pension, meaning that we need to calculate 7.5 of the 390,000. So we need to come and say 390,000 multiplied by 7.5 divided by 100, and our answer will be, so it's 390,000 multiplied by 7.5 divided by 100, and our answer will be 29,250. This is the pension contribution. Okay, so now let's go ahead and calculate question 2.2. So we are done with 2.1. So now let's move to 2.2. So 2.2 says that Daniel claims that his tax is more than 15% of his monthly gross salary. Show with calculations that his statement is valid or not. So he's saying that what he contributes, what he pays to SARS in a month, is more than 15% of his gross salary. Remember that his gross salary is 32,500. So to do that, we first need to see how much tax he needs to pay to SARS in a month. But to calculate that, we need to calculate it annually first, and then after calculating it annually, we will then convert it to monthly. Okay, so let's see how much tax he pays to SARS annually. Okay, so we first need to calculate the total tax payable from what he earns. So total tax payable. Okay, so we know that he earns 390,000 in a year. But guys, pension is not taxed, meaning that we need to remove it from his annual salary because it is not taxed. So to do that, we need to come and say 390,000 multiplied by, not multiplied, minus pension contributions because it is not taxed. So we'll come and say 29,250. So meaning that in a year he will be left earning, so it's 390,000 minus 29,250. So he will be left earning 367.50. Okay, so we have removed the amount of tax because it is not, so we have removed the amount of pension contribution because it is not taxed. Okay, so after finding the 360,750, we then need to determine his tax bracket. bracket. Okay, so if we look on our first table, we need to find where this 367.50 fits in. So if we look at tax bracket number 3, we can see that it ranges from 353,101 to 488,700. Okay, so this is his tax bracket, because we can see that the 360,750, it falls somewhere in between this range. Okay, it falls somewhere in between this range. So we are going to focus on that bracket. So if we see on that bracket, we can see that there is tax that is already calculated for us. So the 73,726, that's the tax that has already been calculated for us, guys. So we are going to call that the tax base. So the tax base is 73,726. So this is our tax base, which is 73,726. And this tax base is calculated from how much? Is tax for 353,100. So if you look at that row, you can see that at the end they wrote that the base tax is for 353,100. Okay, remember that we need to calculate the tax for how much he earns in a year, which is 360,750. So they've already calculated 353,100 for us, meaning that we need to calculate the balance. Okay, so how do we get the balance? To get how much tax we still need to calculate, we come and say 360,750 minus what has already been calculated for us. So in this case, it will be 353,100. Okay, so we need to come and say 360,750 minus 353,100, and our answer will be 7,650. So we need to calculate tax for this amount. Okay, so if you look at that row for our tax bracket, we can see that the tax percentage is 31%. So we need to come and calculate 31% of this amount. So we'll come and say 7,650 multiplied by 31 divided by 100, and we will get, so multiplied by 31 divided by 100, and we will get 2371.5. Okay, so now we need to come and calculate our total tax. So our total tax will be the base tax, the one that has already been calculated for us, and the one that we have calculated. So it's 73726 plus 2371.5. Okay, so our total tax will be, let's just create space. Our total tax will be equals to, so remember our total tax is our base tax and the tax that we calculated. So it will be 73,726 plus 2371.5. and our answer, it will be 76,097.5. This will be our total tax. So after calculating our total tax, we still need to remove things such as the tax rebates and the medical tax credit rate, because medical aid is also not taxed. Okay, so now so this is our total tax, but there are items that we still need to remove. Okay, so next we will check our rebates. So if you check, we are told that, so maybe let's just write our total tax here, 0.5. Okay, now we need to remove our tax rebates. So remember that tax rebates is the way of government saying thank you for paying tax. Just because you pay tax, we will reduce your tax by a certain amount. So in this case, those are rebates, and we need to check which one Daniel qualifies for. So we know that Daniel is 53 years old, and we know that, like we discussed on the previous questions, we have 3 rebates. We have the primary, secondary, and tertiary. So the primary rebates, everyone qualifies, meaning that in this case, Daniel will also qualify, meaning that we will subtract 16,425 from our total tax. Okay, so if we check our secondary rebate, we can see that it's for people who are 65 years and older, and we are told that Daniel is 53 years old. Okay, so meaning that he will only qualify for this tax rebate. Okay, so now let's go ahead and calculate the medical aid. Let's see how much he pays for medical aid, so that we can also remove it from the total tax paid to SARS. Okay, so if we go back to our statement, we are told that he contributes towards medical aid for himself, his wife, and 3 children. Okay, so if we look at our table now, we can see that the taxpayer pays 347, and taxpayer plus first dependent, they pay 694, and each additional dependent pays 234. So in this case, we are going to take the taxpayer plus first dependent, and the dependent will be his wife. So we are going to say 694, and also add the 3 children, and the 3 children will be each additional dependent on the table. So we are going to say plus 234 plus 234 plus 234, and let's see how much that will be. So it's 694 plus 234 plus 234 plus 234, and our answer will be 1,396. So it's 1,396. Remember that 1,396 is what he pays on a month. So we need to find how much he pays in a year. So to do that, we just come and take the 1,396 and multiply by 12 months. And if we do that, so it's 1,396 multiplied by 12 to see how much he needs to pay in a year. So we can see that he needs to pay 16,752. So now we will go ahead and subtract the 16,752. So now let's find out how much tax he needs to pay to SARS in a year. Okay, so we are going to come and say 76,097.5 minus 16,425 minus 16,752, and our answer will be 42,000. 4,990.5. So this is the tax that he needs to pay to SARS. Tax paid to SARS in a year. So if we go back to our question, we can see that we are told that Daniel claims that his tax is more than 15% of his monthly gross salary, meaning that we need to first convert this annual amount into monthly to see how much tax he is paying per month. Okay, so to do that, we just come and take the 42,920.5 and divide by 12 so that we can see how much tax he is paying to SARS in a month. So if we take that amount and divide by 12, we can see that he is paying 3,576.71. So this is how much he is paying to SARS per month. But we are not done. We are told that he claims that his tax is more than 15% of his monthly gross salary. So let's calculate 15% of his monthly gross salary. So to do that, we know that his monthly gross salary is 32,500. So we'll multiply that by 15% divided by 100. Remember, the 15% is what he claims, like we are told. So the 15% is given. So he claims that he pays more than 15% of his gross salary. So let's see how much that 15% is. So we just come and say 32,500 multiplied by 15 over 100. And our answer will be 4,875. So his claim is that he pays more than 15%. But if we check here, we can see that he is paying less because this is how much he pays in a month and this is 15%. So we can see that he pays less, meaning that his statement is not valid. His statement is not valid, and that will be our answer. So now we are done with question 2.2 and we'll be moving to question 2.3. So let's create space for that. And guys, don't forget to subscribe and also don't forget to like. You can also comment if you have any questions and I will look at the comment box and reply. Okay, so now let's move to question 2.3. So 2.3 says that show how 2,396,452 in the tax bracket 6 is calculated. Okay, so tax bracket 6 is, if we look at tax bracket 6, we can see that is the range from 817,601 to 1,731,600. So this is the range for tax bracket 6. Okay, so we are asked to show how the tax base, we need to show how the tax base of 239,452 is calculated. So we need to show how this is calculated. Okay, so to do that, we need to work backward. What does working backward mean? It means that we need to use tax bracket 5 and tax bracket 4 to calculate this tax base. Okay, so to do that, we need to first focus on tax bracket 5. Okay, so if we look at tax bracket 5, we can see that the tax base was 170,734 for 641,400. Okay, so now we need to in this case, we will be considering the whole amount for this tax bracket. So let's just simplify it by showing it. So we know that it's from 641,401 to 817,600. So it falls within this tax bracket. So if we check on tax bracket 7, we can see that the tax base is 170,734. Okay, so we need to calculate the remaining tax. Okay, so to do that, we know that our tax base was 170,734. For how much? For 641,400. So if you look on the far right of tax bracket 6 row, you can see that the 734 is for this amount. So now we need to check the difference and calculate the outstanding tax. Okay, so to do that, we will come and say 817,600 minus 641,400. Okay, so let's quickly do that. So it's 817,600 minus 641,400, and our answer will be 176,200. So now we need to calculate the outstanding tax for this amount, and we know that the tax percentage for bracket 6 or for bracket 5, remember we are focusing on bracket 5, the tax percentage for bracket 5 is 39,000, meaning that we need to come and say 176,200 multiplied by 39 divided by 100, and our tax will be, so it's 176,200,000 multiplied by 39%, which is 39 over 100, and we'll see that our answer is 68,718. So to get the tax bracket for the tax base, not tax bracket, so to get the tax base of tax bracket 6, we add the tax base for tax bracket 5 and the tax we calculated. So if we say 170,734 plus 68,718, this should be able to give us our tax base for tax bracket 6. Okay, so let's prove that. So we come and say 170,734 plus 68,718, and our answer is 239,452, and that's correct. So now we have shown how this tax base was calculated. Okay, so now we will be moving to our final question in this question, which is question 3.4. So to do that, we can just create space first. And we do have Maths Literary Study Guides, guys, which is a soft copy, and we sell them for 150. So if you need those as well, you can just WhatsApp the number you are seeing on the screen, and we will be able to assist. Okay, so now let's move to question 2.4. So 2.4 says that Daniel received a lump sum for having spent 20 years working for the same company. Okay, the company rule is to award employees with 80% of their monthly gross salary. Daniel invested the amount he received into an account offering 11.5% per annum, compounded annually. Calculate how much he will receive after 3 years. First, we need to come and calculate how much 80% of his gross salary will be. So we need to come and say 32,500 multiplied by 80%, which is 80 divided by 100, equals to. So let's see how much you will receive as the lump sum. It's 32,500 multiplied by 80 divided by 100. So you will receive 26,000. We'll receive 26,000. Okay, so we are told that Daniel invested the amount he received into an account offering 11.5% per annum, compounded annually. Calculate how much you will receive after 3 years. So they said compounded annually, meaning that we are going to use the compound interest formula. Compound interest formula. So the compound interest formula says that A is equals to P, open bracket, 1 plus R, close bracket, to the power T. And in this case, we know that A is the final amount after investing. So this is how much you will receive after 3 years. So it's the final amount after interest. And then P is the principal amount, which is the lump sum. Principal amount, which is 26,000. And R is the annual interest rate. Annual interest rate, which is 11.5%. Okay. And T is the number of years. Number of years, which is 3 years. Okay, so now let's go ahead and substitute these amounts into our formula. So A is what we are looking for, and P is 26,000, and 1 plus T. So T is 11.5. So we can come and say 11.5 divided by 100. So this is the same as 11.5%. And then close bracket, and then to the power 3, which is yes. And if we plug that on our calculator, we'll be able to find A. So we are going to say 26,000, open bracket, 1 plus 11.5 divided by 100, close bracket, to the power 3. Okay, and our answer will be 36,041.09. So this is how much you will receive after 3 years plus interest. So now we are done with question 2, and we will be moving to question 3. So now let's go ahead and start with question 3. So we are told that the provincial number of voters that was recorded after the first registration in November 2023 are shown in the table below. Use the table to answer the question that follows. So without wasting any time, let's jump straight into it. And we are going to start with question 3.1. So question 3.1 says that determine which province recorded the least number of voters. So if we look at our table, we can see that the province with the least number of registered voters is Northern Cape. Northern Cape. Okay, and we also know, or we can also see, that the number of registered voters for KwaZulu-Natal is not provided. But if you look at its percentage, you can see that it is 20.76. And if you look at the percentage for Northern Cape, you can see that it is 2.3, meaning that the value of A won't be the least number of registered voters. Okay, so now let's move to question 3.2. So question 3.2 says that there are two ways to calculate the value of A. Use both methods to calculate the number of voters registered in KwaZulu-Natal and explain why the answers are different. So let's start with the simplest method, which is method 1. So method 1, we take the total. Remember, we are given the total. So our total is, if you look at the table, you will see that our total is 26,850,972. So we are also given the percentage of KwaZulu-Natal, which is 20.76. So to get the value of A, we can use the percentage. So we can just come and say multiply by 20.76 divide by 100. And if we plug that on our calculator, which we are going to do now, we'll be able to get our answer. So we come and say 26,850,972 multiplied by 20.76 divided by 100. And our answer will be 5574261.78. And guys, before we move to method 2, you need to understand that here we are speaking about the number of registered voters. So the answer needs to be in discrete. Okay, meaning that we need to round this off. And if we do that, our final answer will be 557,426,2, because the 7 is greater than 5. So the 1 will now become 2. So this is our final answer for method 1. So now let's move to method 2. Method 2. So with method 2, we can all see that the only value that is missing is the value of A, meaning that if we subtract everything else from the total, we should be able to get A. So meaning that we need to come and say 26,850,972. So we need to subtract all number of registered voters for all other 8 provinces so that we can be able to get A. So we need to come and say 26,850,972 minus 3,348,392 minus 1,422,384 minus 6,274,046 minus 1,965,259 minus 6,347,92 minus 2,714,474 minus 1,718,340 minus 3,198,146. And we should be able to get the value of A using this method as well. So let's quickly go ahead and calculate that. So we need to come and say 26,850,972 minus 3,348,392 minus 1,422,384 minus 6,274,046 minus 1,965,259 minus 6,34792 minus 2,714,474 minus 1,718,340 minus 3,198,146, and our answer will be 5,575,139. Okay, and now we are done with question 3.2. So let's go ahead. Oh, before we move forward, the question also says that explain why the answers are different. So they are different because of percentages, because of decimals in percentages. Remember, on method 1, or if you check on the second, or if you check on the percentage column, you can see that those percentages have decimals. That's why the answers are not the same. So it's because of decimals on percentages. Okay, so now let's move to question 3.3. So to do that, we can just clear everything so that we can have enough space to answer that question. So we need to have enough space. Okay, so now let's move to question 3.3. So question 3.3 says that show that the percentage of voters in the Western Cape is 11.91. That's B. If you check on the percentage column, you can see that B is unknown. So there are many ways that you can use. So you can use either method 1 or method 2, but in this case we will just use one method. So we can see that the number of registered voters in Western Cape was 3,198,146. So if we divide this by the total and multiply by 100, we should be able to get the percentage of Western Cape. So we'll come and divide by 26,850,972 and multiply by 100 because we are looking for the percentage. And if we do this, we should be able to get the 11.91. So let's quickly prove it. So it's 3,198,146 divided by 26,850,972 multiplied by 100. And our answer is 11.91. So we have proven, or we have shown how the 11.91 was calculated. Okay, so now let's move to question 3.4. So question 3.4 says that calculate the mean number of voters in South Africa. So we know that the mean is one and the same thing as the average. So if they say calculate the average, they're saying calculate the mean. And if they say calculate the mean, they're saying calculate the average. So in this case, we are already given the total of the number of registered voters for each and every, which is just adding up all the provinces. So we are going to see 26. Remember, we need the mean, which is the average. So we are going to say 26,850, 972 divided by the number of provinces. How many provinces do we have? If we count on our table, we can see that we have 9 provinces. And our answer will be, so let's quickly do that. So we need to say 26,850,972 divided by 9. And our answer will be 29,83441.33. So this will be our mean. Okay, so this will be our mean. So now let's go ahead and answer question 3.5. But before we answer question 3.5, let's make space because it will need a bit of space. It will need a bit of space. So let's answer question 3.5. So 3.5 says that determine the interquartile range for the number of registered voters. Remember that the interquartile range is equals to Q3 minus Q1. So this is the interquartile range. But how do we get Q3 and how do we get Q1? So first we need to arrange our data or the number of registered voters in ascending order. In ascending order to be able to define Q1 and Q3. In ascending order. What does ascending order mean? It means that from lowest to highest. So if we look at on our table, we can see that the lowest was 6, 3, 4, 7, 9, 2, followed by 1, 4, 2, 2, 3, 8, 4, followed by 1, 7, 1, 8, 3, 4, 0, then followed by 1, 9, 6, 5, 2, 5, 9, then followed by 2, 7, 1, 4, 4, 7, 4, then followed by 3, 1, 9, 8, 1, 4, 6, then followed by 3, 3, 4, 8, 3, 9, 2, then followed by 5. So the 5, the one that I'm writing now, this is the value of A, the one that we calculated using method B, the one that didn't have decimals. So it's 5, 5, 7, 5, 1, 3, 9, and then followed by 6, 2, 7, 4, 0, 4, 6. Okay, so what we need to do first to get our interquartile range, or to get started with our interquartile range, we first need to calculate, or we first need to determine the median of this data of the number of registered voters. So how do we get the median? The median is the middle value. So if we check here, we can see that the middle value will be, this will be our median. Okay, which is also called Q2, but we are not going to use it to calculate the interquartile range. So after getting the median, we need to find the median of this first part, which is going to be Q1. So we need to find the median of the first part, and we also need to find the median of the second part. Okay, so the median of the first part will be our Q1, and the median of the second part will be our Q3. And if we check on the first part, we have 4 numbers or 4 data set. data points, not data set, data points. So we can see that we don't have the number that is exactly in the middle because there are 4. So to find the median, we take the 2 that are in the middle and add them and divide by 2, meaning that our Q1 is going to be 1422,384 plus 1718340. We add those and divide by 2 and we'll be able to find our Q1. And to find our Q2, not Q2, our Q3, we do the same. So we come and say, so if you check even this side, you can see that there is no median. So to get the median, we just add the 2 that are in the middle and divide by 2. So we are going to add 3348 to 392 plus 5575139 and divide by 2, and we should be able to get our Q3. So now let's go ahead and do the calculations. So we are going to say 1422384 plus 1718340 divide by 2, and our Q1 will be 1570362. So now let's go ahead and calculate our Q3. So we do the same. We add the 2 and divide by 2. So it's 3348392 plus 5575139 divided by 2. And our answer will be 446,176. 5 divide point, not divide point, 5. So to get our interquartile range, we take Q3 and minus Q1. So in this case, we are going to say, to get our interquartile range, we are going to say 4461765.5 minus 1570362, and our interquartile range will be 4461765.5 minus 1570362, and our answer will be 2891403.5. So this is our interquartile range. So now we are done answering question 3.5, and let's make space. Let's make space to answer the next questions. Okay, let's make space to answer the next questions. So now we are going to move to question 3.6. 3.6. So question 3.6 is that use the provided answer sheet to draw the line graph for the percentage of voters per province. For the percentages, meaning that we are going to use the percentages column. So we will just draw our line graph here. So we'll come and say, we have so this side will represent percentage. So this will represent percentages, and this will represent what? Provinces. That's how it is described in the answer sheet they are talking about. So we'll start with Eastern Cape, then Free State, then Gauteng, then KwaZulu-Natal, then Mpumalanga, then Northern Cape, then Limpopo, Northwest, and Western Cape. Okay, so in terms of percentages, we can just come and say 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so let's look at Eastern Cape. How much was the percentage of Eastern Cape? It was 12.5, meaning that we are going to have our point here. So remember that it needs to be 12.5 this side, and it needs to be Eastern Cape this side. So we'll have our first point here. And then next, Free State, it was 5.3. So 5.3 will be somewhere here, meaning that we'll have our point here. Okay, so next Gauteng was 23.37. So 23.37 will be somewhere here, meaning that we'll have our next point somewhere here, and it needs to be in line with Gauteng. So after Gauteng, we will have KZN, which is 20.76. So KZN will be somewhere here because it's 20.76. Then we will have Mpumalanga, and Mpumalanga is 7.32, so it's just above 5. So Mpumalanga will be somewhere, we can say somewhere here, yes. And then next we will have Northern Cape, which is 2.3. So Northern Cape will be somewhere here. And then next we will have Limpopo, which is 10.11. So 10.11 will be somewhere here. So we'll just come and say 10.11. And next we will have Northwest, which is 6.4. So 6.4 will be somewhere, we can say somewhere here. And then after we will have Western Cape, which is 11.91, which is 11.91, meaning that it will be somewhere, we can say somewhere here. And then remember, they said it's a line graph, so we need to draw our line. So we'll start here and come here, and then come up here, and then come here, and then come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Then we are done with our line graph. And then after drawing it, we can also label it. So we can come and say 12.47, then 5.3. Then we can also have 23.37. Then we can have 20.76. Then we can have 7.32. Then we can have 2.3, 10.11, 6.4, and 11.91. So now we are done with question 3.6. So now let's move to question, before we wrap, we can have space. Let's move to question 3.7. So question 3.7 says that give a possible reason why the number of registered voters is important to political parties. It is important so that they can to arrange campaigns so that they can convince people to vote for them, to arrange campaigns. Okay, so now let's move to the next question, which is question 3.8, the last question on question 3. So it says that determine the probability as a decimal rounded off to 3 decimal places of selecting a registered voters residing in the Cape Province. So let's first make space. Let's first make space. Okay, so we need to find the probability of someone who's residing in the Cape province, and we need to write it as a decimal, rounded off to 3 decimal places. Okay, so we have 3 Cape provinces. So we have Western Cape, Northern Cape, and Western Cape, meaning that we are adding all that up and divide by the total. So we'll start with Western Cape. So Western Cape is 3, 3, 4, 8, 3, 9, 2 plus 6, 3, 4, 7, 9, 2 plus 3, 1, 9, 8, 1, 4, 6. Divide by the total, and the total is 26, 8, 5, 0, 9, 7, 2. And remember that our answer needs to be a decimal and rounded off to 3, meaning that we don't have to multiply by 100 because we are not looking for a percentage. So we will come and say 3, 3, 4, 8, 3, 9, 2, 3, 3, 4, 8, 3, 9, 2 plus 6, 3, 4, 7, 9, 2 plus 3, 1, 9, 8, 1, 4, 6. Divide by 2, 6, 8, 5, 0, 9, 7, 2. And our answer will be 0.267. So we rounded it off to 3 decimal places. So now we are done with question 3. This is not 3.6, this is 3.8. So this was our last question under question 3. So now we will be moving on to question 4. So now we are going to start with question 4. So we are told that in the African Cup of Nations, the winning soccer team was promised $7 million. The team, including the technical staff, has a total number of 30 members. They are going to share the $7 million equally. So now let's go ahead and answer questions provided. So we are going to start with 4.1, and we have 4.1.1. So the question says that write the winning money in digits. So it's $7 million. So it's going to be 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Remember that there are 6 zeros, not thousand. So there are 6 zeros in a million. So the answer is going to be 7,000,000. And then now let's move to question 1.1.2. So question 1. Not question 1. So now question 4.1.2 says that determine how much each member will receive if they win the tournament. And then we are told to round off the answer into 1,000. Okay, so what we are going to do here is that we are going to come and say 7 million. Remember that there are 30 staff members, so we are going to say 30. So we are going to divide by 30. Yes, so we are going to take the 7 million and divide by 30. Okay, so now let's plug that into our calculator. So we are going to say 7 million divided by 30, and our answer will be 23333. Okay, so we are told to write our final answer after rounding it off to the nearest 1000. So we are going to focus on these 3. So we can see that this 3 here is less than 5, meaning that the 3 which is on the other side is going to remain the same. But if the 3 was greater than 5, then this 3 was now going to be 4. So our final answer will be 233,000. So this will be our final answer. Okay, so now let's move to the next question, which is question 4.2. So question 4.2 says that the South African cricket team participated up to the semi-final in the 2023 Cricket World Cup. There were two main sponsors from different countries. They used their own currency to pay players for different awards, such as the most sixes scored, player of the match, and player of the tournament. Use the exchange rates given below to answer the questions that follow. So we are given the exchange rate table, which is table 4. And now let's go ahead and answer the questions that follows. So we are going to start with question 4.2.1. So question 4.2.1 says that there is 2.5% commission charged when converting into local currency. Calculate how much will be deposited into the player's account in rands if he was given $5,000 and £2,000 from two sponsors. So let's first convert the 5,000. So it will be 5,000 multiplied by 19.1305. And then now let's convert the 2,000. So it will be £2,000 multiplied by 24.3861. Okay, so let's quickly find out how much it will be after converting. So it's 5,000 multiplied by 19.1305, and our answer will be 95,652.5. And then now let's convert the 2,000. So it's 2,000 multiplied by 24.3861, and our answer will be 48,772.2. So our total is going to be 95,652.5. So our total will be 144,424.7. Okay, so to calculate how much will be paid into the player's account, we need to remove the commission. So the commission is 2.5%. So we need to come and say 144,424.7 multiplied by 2.5% divided by 100. And our commission is going to be multiplied by 2.5. So this will be our commission, 3,610.62. So after calculating the commission, we can be able to see how much will be deposited into the player's account. So 144,424.7 minus 3,610.62. This will be deposited into the player's account. So we need to come and say 144,424.7 minus 3,610.62, and the answer will be 148,104.08. Okay, so now let's move to question 4.2.2. We can even answer it below here. So 4.2.2 says that give a possible reason why there is a difference between buying and selling foreign currencies. There's only one reason, which is to make profit. People who buy and sell things, they do it to do it to make profit. Okay, so now we are done with question 4.2, and we will be moving to 4.3. We'll be moving to 4.3. We will be moving to question 4.3. Okay, so 4.3 says that the diagram below shows the expenditure of the metropolitan municipalities of South Africa in the year ending 2022. So we have 4.3.1. So if you check here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 metropolitan given on our diagram, and we can see that 4 are from Gauteng. So in Gauteng we have city of Tshwane, we have city of Johannesburg, we have city of Ekurhuleni, and yeah, I think we have 3. Yeah, we have 3 in Gauteng. We have city of Tshwane, city of Johannesburg, and city of Ekurhuleni. Okay, so now let's move to question 4.3.1. So 4.3.1, the question is saying how many provinces have metropolitan municipalities in the country? Our answer will be 5 provinces. Okay, so now let's move to question 4.3.1. So question 4.3.2. Question 4.3.2 says that name the type of graph that was used to represent the actual expenditure in the metropolitan municipalities of South Africa. This is the pie chart. This is the pie chart. So now let's move to question 4.3.3. Question 4.3.3 says that show that the probability of choosing a municipality that has an expenditure of at most 0.7 million. 0.7 million is equals to 700,000. Okay, so the question is saying show that the probability of choosing a municipality that has an expenditure of at most 0.7 million is 62.5. Okay, so to do that, we need to come and say how many municipalities, metropolitan municipalities, has less than 700,000. Okay, so we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll come and say 5. And then how many metropolitan municipalities do we have? We have 8, and then multiply by 100. And our answer should be 62.5. So let's quickly do that. So it's 5 divided by 8 multiplied by 100, and our answer is 62.5. 62.5. Okay, percent. Okay, so now we are done with question 4.3, and we will be moving to question 4.4. Okay, so question 4.4 says that Thandi buys and sells stationery packs at schools in her community. The table below shows the cost and the income per stationery pack. So let's start with question 4.4.1. So question 4.4.1 says that define the term break-even in the given context. So break-even is income generated from selling packs is equal to the cost of packs. So the break-even point is the point where what you used to buy is what you got after selling. So it's a point where no profit or no loss was made. Okay, so now let's move to 4.4.2. So question 4.4.2 says that name the type of cost that 6,000 represent. So 6,000 represent the fixed cost. Okay, so it is not associated with the number of packs, and it's also not associated with the income of packs. So now let's move to the last question, which is question 4.4.3. So let's just make space so that we can be able to answer it clearly. So now let's move to question 4.4.3. 4.4.3. So the question says that determine how many packs Tandy must sell to break even. Okay, so to do that, we first need to see the number of packs and the income of packs. So we need to see the first row and the third row. So we can see that if Tandy sells 10 packs, his income will be 7,500, which is less than the cost of packs, meaning that Tandy would have make a loss. Okay, so if we check at 20 packs, the number of packs 20, we can see that the income is 15,000 and the cost of packs will be 13,000, meaning that Tandy would have made profit, meaning that our break even or the packs Tandy must sell to break even needs to be between 10 and 20. So now let's calculate our break even point. Okay, so break even point. So the break even point is equals to the fixed cost divided by selling price per unit, and the unit here we are referring to packs. So it's selling price per pack minus variable cost per pack. Variable cost per pack. Okay. So now we need to find the selling price per pack. So to find the selling price per pack, we need to come and say, we know that if the number of packs are 10, the cost of packs will be 9,500 and the income of packs will be 7,500. So to find the selling price per pack, we will come and say 7,500, which is the income of packs, divided by how many packs we produced, 10, and our answer will be 750 per pack. Okay, so now we need to come and find the variable cost per pack. Variable cost. So first we know that the variable cost is given by total cost minus the fixed cost. Okay, so we know that the total cost is how much our total cost will be. So the variable is total cost minus the fixed cost. So our total cost will be 9,500 minus our fixed, which is 6,000, and our variable cost will be, let's quickly do that. So it's 9,500 minus 6,000, 3,500. Okay, so now to find our variable cost per pack, we need to divide the variable cost by 10 because the number of packs is 10. So we need to come and say 3,500 divided by 10 to find our variable cost per pack, and the answer will be 350 per pack. Okay, so now let's go ahead and substitute into our break-even point formula. So now we are going to say our fixed cost, which is 6,000, divided by our selling price per pack, which is 750, minus our variable cost per pack, which is 350, and our answer will be, so it's 6,000 divided by 750 minus 350, and our answer will be 15 pack. Okay, so the number of packs that Thandi must sell to break even needs to be 15 packs, and that brings us to the end of our question paper. If you have any comments, please comment down below and I will be able to assist. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also, don't forget, guys, that we have soft copy study guides that we sell for $150 for maths literacy, and we also have extra classes that are 80 Rand per month, and you attend twice a week and 8 times in a month.